The Pokemon Vmax mechanic was the brand new mechanic for the Sword and Shield era of cards that required you to evolve your basic V Pokemon into powerful 3-prize Vmax Pokemon. At first, they were underwhelming, but as time went on and more cards were printed, some became incredibly powerful. So in this video, let's go over some of the best Vmax printed to date. And starting us off at number 10, we have Shadow Rider Calyrex Vmax from Chilling Reign expansion. This card has a massive 320 hit points, a fantastic ability, and a great attack. Its ability, Underworld Door, allows you to attach a psychic energy from your hand to one of your bench psychic Pokemon, and if you do that, you also get to draw 2 cards. Being able to do this with multiple Shadow Rider Calyrex Vmax on your board allows you to not only power up your attack Max Geist, which does 10 damage plus 30 more for each psychic energy attached to all your Pokemon in play, but also draw multiple extra cards per turn. By playing high counts of psychic energy, you can do upwards of 300 damage with enough energy in play. Another factor into why this card is so great is because of the many cards that support psychic types, such as Cresselia from the Chilling Reign expansion. It has the attack Crescent Glow, which allows you to search for 1 psychic energy from your deck and attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. But if you go second and it's your first turn, you can search for 3 instead of 1. It also has the attack Photon Laser for 2 psychic energy that does 30 damage plus 90 more if you have 5 or more psychic energies in play. It also has access to Fog Crystal, which allows you to search for either a basic psychic Pokemon or basic psychic energy from your deck. All these cards in combination allow for Shadow Rider Calyrex to be a super consistent high damaging deck. And coming at the number 9 spot, we have Jolteon Vmax. This card came out in the Evolving Skies expansion alongside other Evolution Vmaxes such as Flareon Vmax and Vaporeon. Out of these 3, Jolteon saw the most amount of success. This card has 300 hit points, which is slightly lower than most other Vmax cards. It has 1 attack, Max Thunder Rumble, which does 100 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that already has damage on it. While this doesn't seem like something that's super easy to do, there are many ways to get damage onto bench Pokemon, such as Zigzagoon with the Headbutt Tantrum ability, which allows you to place 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon when you bench it. There's also Inteleon with Quick Shooting, which allows you to place 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Both of these cards synergize well with Jolteon Vmax. Another card that makes Jolteon Vmax such a great card is Elemental Badge. This card allows Jolteon to attack for 1 colorless energy less, which means you can attack for 1 lightning energy only. Furthermore, being a lightning type means you can hit super hard against popular cards like Palkia V-Star for its weakness. And at number 8, we have Malamar Vmax. This card was one that came out during the lockdown and the Rebel Clash expansion. It did not get a chance to shine until we got to go back to events. With the release of Arceus V-Star, this card finally had a consistent way of powering itself up and had a great partner. It had 310 HP and is a Dark-type Pokemon. It has 1 attack, Max Jammer, which does 180 damage for 2 dark energy and 1 colorless energy. It allows you to pick 1 card from your opponent's hand and put it on the bottom of your opponent's deck. This card, paired with Marnie, can sometimes prevent your opponent from being able to do anything during their turn unless they draw a playable card off the top of their deck. As stated above, Arceus V-Star is the perfect partner to power up Malamar Vmax. Another card this card was paired with was Jolteon from Vivid Voltage. This card has the ability Thunderous Awakening, which, as long as the tool card memory capsule is attached to it, all water Pokemon in play have no ability. This shuts off 2 cards that could help your opponent find the cards needed to shut down Malamar Vmax. The 2 cards are Drizzle and Inteleon from the Sword and Shield based set expansion. Both of these cards have the Shading Dealings ability, which allows you, the user, to search their deck for a number of trainer cards. While both of these cards share the same ability, Drizzle only allows you to search for 1 trainer card, and Inteleon allows you to search for 2. By shutting these 2 cards off with Jolteon, many decks struggle to find the necessary pieces to be able to do anything against a Malamar Vmax. And at number 7, we have Gengar Vmax from Battle Styles. This card is a 320 HP Dark type that can deal massive amounts of damage thanks to its very 2 powerful attacks. The first is Fear and Panic, which does 60 damage times the amount of Pokemon V your opponent has in play for only 2 dark energy. Its second attack, Gmax Swallow Up, does 250 damage for 3 dark energy. Another essential factor in Gengar's success is that it is a single strike Pokemon. This was a mechanic introduced in the set where some Pokemon would be either a single strike Pokemon or a rapid strike Pokemon. There were many cards printed to help each of these subclasses of Pokemon, where Gengar Vmax was able to use 2 of the best single strike cards printed in the set, Single Strike Energy and Houndoom. Single Strike Energy counts as a dark or fighting energy and can only be attached to a single strike Pokemon. It also increases the amount of damage a single strike Pokemon it's attached to can do by 20. Houndoom has the ability Single Strike Roar, which allows you to search your deck for a single strike energy and attach it to one of your single strike Pokemon. The only downside is that whenever you attach energy with this ability, you have to put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon it gets attached to. This means that having 3 single strike energy on a Gengar Vmax allows it to do 310 damage using its Gmax Swallow Up attack, which is enough to one-shot a lot of Pokemon. The card Urn of Vitality is also useful for getting back your single strike energy cards. Being able to do so much damage really set this card up for success. And at number 6, we have Ice Rider Calyrex Vmax. This card is also from the Chilling Reigns expansion and came out alongside Shadow Rider Calyrex. This card has 320 HP, just like Shadow Rider, but it has a very different attack. For 2 colorless energy, it has Ride of the High King, which does 10 damage plus 30 more for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It also has Max Lance, which does 10 damage for 2 water energy, but allows you to discard up to 2 energies from it. And for each energy you discard in this way, you do an extra 120 damage. This means that if you discard 2 energy, you do 250 damage for only 2 energy. Upon the release of this card, people would play with the Drizzled and Inteleon engine, using them to search for the card Melanie every turn to be able to continue to attack after discarding your energy the previous turn, as Melanie would allow you to reattach water energy back from your discard pile and then draw 3 cards. You were also able to search out Capacious Bucket using Drizzled and Inteleon to find energy to attach each turn, as Bucket allowed you to then search out 2 water energy from your deck. Later adaptations of the deck played Ice Rider Calyrex Vmax with Palkia V-Star, as its Star Portal V-Star ability allowed you to accelerate up to 3 water energy from your discard to your water Pokemon in any way you'd like. And Irida allowed you to search your deck for a water Pokemon and an item card. Both of these cards had very clear synergy with Ice Rider Calyrex Vmax, and let it continue to thrive in the Astral Radiance format. And at number 5, we have Kyurem Vmax from Lost Origin. This card is very similar to Ice Rider Calyrex Vmax, except it does everything better. Kyurem has 330 HP and has the ability Glaciated World, which allows you to discard the top card of your deck, and if that card is a water energy, you attach it to any of your Pokemon. It also has the attack Max Frost for 3 water energy, which does 120 damage plus 50 more for each water energy you choose to discard from itself. Compared to Ice Rider Calyrex Vmax, you sometimes might do less damage and requires an extra energy to attack, but there's no limit to the number of water energy you discard from Kyurem, meaning that if you discard 4 energy, you do 120 plus 200 more, doing 320 damage total, which is enough to KO almost anything in the game in one hit. Oranguru from the Sword and Shield base set allows you to swap a card from your hand with the top card of your deck. This allows you to put a water energy on top of your deck and then use Kyurem Vmax's ability to attach water energy to one of your Pokemon. All of these factors made Kyurem into a natural powerhouse. And at number 4, we have Duraludon Vmax from Evolving Skies. This single strike Vmax has a massive 330 HP and a crazy good ability and equally strong attack. Its ability Skyscraper prevents it from taking any damage from any Pokemon that have special energy attached to it. Its attack Gmax Pulverization does 220 damage and goes through all of your effects your opponent's active Pokemon. This means that cards like Miltank can't wall it out. Furthermore, Duraludon Vmax has access to many useful cards, such as Single Strike Style Mustard, which allows you to cheat out a single strike Pokemon from your deck if it's the last card in your hand. You also had access to many healing cards, such as Hyper Potion and Crystal Cave. Both of these cards allowed you to heal damage from your Duraludon Vmax and let it live to see another day. Duraludon decks were also able to tech in cards like Avery from the Palkia V-Star matchup so that you could limit their bench Pokemon while also drawing 3 cards. This allowed you to play with an extremely low bench size, usually consisting of either one more Duraludon or an Arceus V-Star. Along its Gmax Pulverization attack, you were able to out-heal and out-damage a lot of decks in the format. And at number 3, we have Flying Pikachu Vmax. This card saw a ton of success in the Astral Radiance format, and for a good reason. With a solid 310 HP and Lightning type, it was the perfect counter to Palkia V-Star. Its attack Max Balloon for 1 Lightning energy and 2 colorless energy does 160 damage and prevents all damage done to it by basic Pokemon during your opponent's turn. This means strong basics like Radiant Charizard, a strong single prize basic that has the potential to knock out many Vmax and V-Star Pokemon with its Combustion Blast attack for 1 fire and 4 colorless that deals 250 damage. It also has the Excited Heart ability, which reduces attack cost by 1 colorless for each prize card your opponent has taken. This allows the very powerful Radiant Charizard to attack for just 1 energy if your opponent has taken 4 prizes. And Flying Pikachu Vmax is able to prevent all the damage from Radiant Charizard as long as it used Max Balloon during the last turn. It also has no retreat cost, making it a great pivot as well. This card was mainly paired with Arceus V-Star because giving free retreat on both Flying Pikachu V and Flying Pikachu Vmax allowed you to easily switch into Arceus V-Star and use Trinity Nova. This powerful attack allowed you to power up your Flying Pikachu Vs and Vmaxes so that you could start attacking with them, as it just gave them 3 energy. Pikachu being a Lightning type allowed you to easily take knockouts on Palkia V-Star, while being difficult for them to take a knockout without multiple damage modifiers. And at number 2, we have Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax. This card saw an immense amount of play and success, and for a very good reason. With a massive 330 HP, fighting type, and 2 extremely powerful attacks, this card was a powerhouse. Its first attack, Gale Thrust, does 30 damage plus 120 more if Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax moved from the bench to the active spot this turn. Its second attack, Gmax Rapid Flow, does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This, in combination with cards such as Passimian, which makes your Rapid Strike Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's bench Pokemon V, and Telescopic Sight, does the same thing but is a tool card allowing you to do 180 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This card also has access to Rapid Strike Energy, which, when attached to Rapid Strike Pokemon, provides 2 in any combination of Water and Fighting Energy. This allows us to attack with Gmax Rapid Flow 1 turn sooner. Being a Fighting type means you can knock out an Arceus V-Star with Gale Thrust for 1 energy. You also have Towers of Waters, which reduces the retreat cost of Rapid Strike Pokemon by 2, allowing you to pivot between 2 Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmaxes to use Gale Thrust back to back. Overall, this card is an insanely strong card that has so many tools at its disposal, but there is one Vmax that is better than it. And our final card on this list, at number 1, we have Mew Vmax. This card is the only Fusion Strike Pokemon on this list. Mew Vmax has 310 HP and has 2 attacks. The first is Cross Fusion Strike for 2 colorless energy, which allows you to use any of the attacks on your other Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. It also has Max Miracle for 2 psychic energy, which does 130 damage and goes through all the effects of your opponent's active Pokemon. Mew Vmax decks usually only run Fusion Strike Pokemon because of Genesect V's ability, Fusion Strike System, which allows you to draw cards until you have cards in hand equal to the number of Fusion Strike Pokemon you have in play. This means that if you have 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, you can draw until you have 6 cards in hand. Pretty much all lists play 4 Genesect Vs so that you can use this ability multiple times per turn to draw through your deck. You also have access to Meloetta, which has the attack Melodis Echo, that does more damage for each Fusion Strike energy in play, and Alyssa's Sparkle, which allows you to search for 2 Fusion Strike energy and attach them to 2 of your Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. Furthermore, you also have Double Turbo Energy, which allows Mew Vmax to attack for 1 energy attachment. Power Tablet is a card that allows your Fusion Strike Pokemon in play to do 30 more damage during the turn you play it. This, in combination with Mew Vmax being able to copy Genesect V's Technoblast, allowing you to do 190 damage before any damage modifiers, makes for a heavy-hitting attacker with high HP and a plethora of powerful cards to pair it with. Alright, and that's the video. Vmax Pokemon are undoubtedly a very strong mechanic. As always, if you think there's anything we may have missed or have any ideas for future videos just like this one, please let us know down in the comments.